Remember that technology is not value neutral. Rather, our values shape and are shaped by technology, and that values come in interdependent pairs, also known as polarities. Here are some examples of polarities that are commonly associated with the application and development of different technologies. With smart cities, you have the polarity between openness and privacy. With power generation, you can have polarities between centralized and decentralized systems. With automation, you can have polarities around efficient and rewarding work. With CRISPR, the gene editing technology, you can have a polarity between rewards and risk. With ride-sharing technologies, you can have a polarity between evolution and revolution of the systems that are being impacted. With space exploration, you could look at a polarity between near-term and long-term benefits to society. And with the energy transition, you could look at a polarity between focused benefits in the near term and longer-term societal benefits. To dive deeper, consider a traditional suburb versus a dense downtown core as a manifestation of complex socio-technological systems. What was being valued when we shaped suburbs? Personal freedom, mobility, privacy, space. And what is valued when we densify urban cores? Close connections, shorter commutes, maybe certain aspects of sustainability, although that's a complex topic. Now consider that it's not just how our values shaped these environments, but also how the values of the citizens who inhabit these communities are in turn shaped by their environment. What type of environment did you grow up in? How do you think this environment has impacted your own values? Have you gravitated towards the values inherent in that environment, or perhaps you've rebelled against them? Either way, there's a complex co-evolution happening for all of us between our personal values and our various socio-technological environments. The Engineering Change Lab and Tech Stewardship Network have worked with a company called Polarity Partnerships to leverage their process of seeing, mapping, assessing, learning, and leveraging polarities in order to support the practice of tech stewardship. To give you a sense of what it looks like to map a polarity, let's take a real-world scenario of a government agency that was experiencing a polarity between information sharing and information security. Imagine that you were part of this government agency and that you personally tend to value all the upsides of information sharing, like greater innovation, creativity, agility, and collaboration. And you naturally fear the downsides of over-focusing on information security, like inflexibility, stifling creativity, inefficiencies, and making it harder to collaborate. So in interaction after interaction with certain colleagues, you find yourself pulling on one side of the rope, always arguing for more information sharing. Meanwhile, the colleagues you find yourself arguing with naturally value information security and its upsides, like data integrity, identity protection, reduced loss, and continuity of operations. And they fear the downsides of over-focusing on information sharing, like vulnerability, identity theft, information overload, and high cost to recover data. As these tug-of-wars play out over the years, first the organization sees the downsides of over-focusing on the winning value in the tug-of-war, and then starts to also see the downsides of the missing or avoided value. Now picture a different scenario wherein you and several of your colleagues have launched your practices as tech stewards. As a result, you notice that the tug-of-war is happening. You take the time to step back and map the polarity. In the process of mapping, you realize that everyone actually shares the same ultimate deeper fear, which is data irrelevance and insecurity. And everyone also shares the same higher goal, which is a sustainable information advantage. The process of mapping and coming to these deeper realizations creates space for both end solutions to begin to emerge. Solutions that realize the positive outcomes associated with each value while avoiding the downsides that result when you over-focus on one value to the neglect of its interconnected pair. In the end, your team achieves what everyone wanted all along, which is a sustainable information advantage that allows you to provide better service to citizens, and at the same time, you strengthen the alignment and effectiveness of your team. As this example demonstrates, for people involved in the creation and application of technology, it is important that we are able to spot and work with polarities. In order to accomplish this, we must be aware of our own personal values and the dominant values within the communities that we belong, so that we don't unconsciously embed them into the technology we're developing. As we become more aware and skilled at spotting and working with polarities, we make better decisions about shaping technology for the benefit of all.